traveling between plantations for work. He witnessed the brutality faced by slaves, which fostered his belief that slavery was not only inhumane, but also incompatible with Christian teachings. By the late 1820s, discussions in the British Parliament about abolishing slavery reached the ears of enslaved Jamaicans. Sharpe, like many others, mistakenly believed that Parliament had already granted emancipation and that plantation owners were conspiring to withhold this news. Fueled by this belief, Sharpe devised a plan for a peaceful workplace strike. Sharpe's plan was bold but rooted in nonviolence. He proposed that slaves refuse to work after Christmas Day in 1831 unless they were paid. He emphasized that the strike should be peaceful, aligning with his Christian principles and his belief in the moral power of passive resistance. This act of defiance marked the beginning of what would become known as the Christmas Rebellion or the Baptist War. It was the largest slave uprising in Jamaican history, a direct challenge to the system of oppression that had defined their lives for centuries. However, the slaves were poorly equipped, armed mostly with makeshift weapons, and lacked formal military training. In contrast, the colonial authorities responded with overwhelming force. British troops and Maroon militias, a group of formerly enslaved people who had won their freedom through treaties, were deployed to suppress the rebellion. After 10 days of conflict, the rebellion was quashed. Over 200 slaves were killed in the fighting, and the violence didn't end there. Colonial authorities launched a brutal crackdown in the aftermath of the rebellion. Trials were held to punish the so-called ringleaders, resulting in the execution of approximately 310 to 340 enslaved individuals. Samuel Sharpe was among those arrested. While imprisoned, Sharpe maintained his belief in the righteousness of his cause. In conversations with Reverend Henry Bleby, he expressed no regret for his actions, declaring, "I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live my life in slavery." On May 23, 1832, at just 31 years old, Samuel Sharpe was executed by hanging in the Montego Bay marketplace. His body was initially buried in the harbor sands, but was later reinterred beneath the pulpit of the Birchall Baptist Church, a fitting resting place for a man of faith and conviction. Though the rebellion failed to achieve immediate emancipation, it sent shockwaves across the British Empire. The sheer scale and intensity of the uprising highlighted the unsustainability of slavery, accelerating the abolition movement in Britain.